Oh man, my coach, y'all's pastor, all around the world with these goals, all around the world with these changing seasons. Holy moly. Let's talk about him going all around the world. Turn that up. Get turned up. I got it right here. It's right here. With my coach, if the gifts are good and plenty, don't you know? There he goes, there he goes, there he goes. Changing seasons at the drop of a hat, creating goals that go unfulfilled, laying up under Megan, the true backbone of the family. Don't you know? There he goes, there he goes, there he goes. To y'all's pastor, setting up a podcast in that mini living room. Setting up a podcast in that mini living room. Simply because he got that glimmer. He got that glimmer in his eye. Don't you know? There he goes, there he goes, there he goes. Oh, man. All right. Before I get into my reaction, first I want to shout out you guys that have been active in the comments, keeping that dialogue going both ways. I do want to recognize you, heavy. I said I was going to calm down a little bit. So you heavy Tim supporters. I hear you guys in the comments talking about Captain, you ain't what's happening. You trying to separate me from my YouTube husband. Yeah, I'll be like, yo, Megan might have him in the real world, but on YouTube, in the real world, in the YouTube world, in the YouTube streets, that's my bae. And I'm like, all right, calm down. But I hear you guys. Y'all be wilding in those comments though. All right. In the meantime, I digress. Today I'm going to provide my reaction to the recent IAG Farms video where they talk about an IAG movement. And of course, when I saw that, I was like, wait, hold on. You already talked about the fact that you guys moved from being a ministry to being a for-profit business to being an LLC company or corporation. You already talked about that movement. And so I'm like, okay, which movement are we talking about? Are we talking about moving back to the ministry, moving back to the Walk by Faith ministry? Are we talking about getting back to the goals, the initial goals of IAG? Are we talking about that? So I leaned in. But of course, I noticed that we're really talking about some other type of movement, something a little bit more akin to a bowel movement. But I'm going to review that video in this video. I was so excited, Coach Tim. I was so excited to see that you turned the comments back on. I was like, oh, finally, my Coach Tim realized that he couldn't run from scrutiny. He couldn't run from criticism. He couldn't run from accountability. But then you admitted to us that you merely turned your comments on. You turned them back on merely for the sake of promoting the podcast, the blasphemous Godcast.
This is not a podcast. This is a Godcast.
The blasphemous Godcast podcast.
This is a Godcast.
And so you indicated, at least you were transparent. And so you told the viewers that he turned the comments on and he's going to leave the comments on for the podcast. And initially he slipped up and he said, well, I'm going to leave that on so I can get questions from you guys. And he's like, oh, no. I don't want questions from you guys. I really just want the comments open so that you guys can leave show ideas. And I'm like, okay, that's my coach. That's the coach that we all know, except for the heavy Tim supporters. That's the Tim that we know, the one that's always in take mode. Okay. It's not about me interacting with you guys. It's about you guys giving it. Give me some show ideas so that I can profit properly, so I can profit abundantly, so I can profit more exceedingly off of this podcast. And so I was like, okay, all right, Tim, do what you do, Tim. I just hope that you don't pile yet another chore onto Megan's plate, her plate that's already overflowing. I understand that she's going to be going in for corrective procedure for her hernia soon. She's not going to be able to be out there doing those farm chores. I hope that you don't see that as an opportunity to continue to put her to work inside the house. So Tim, I'm going to ask that we already talked about you going easy on Grandma Lily. I'm going to ask that you go easy on Megan also, Tim, go easy on her.
So yeah, I'm gonna leave the comments open, Lord willing, unless something crazy happens. We're gonna leave the comments open over on the Godcast channel. And like I said, it'll be an opportunity. Like I said, when we're doing big projects, after I get done doing the big project, we can sit down for the Godcast, kind of talk about things, share. You know, you all can ask your questions and things like that. And we can just share what the Lord is speaking to us. Like I said, we'll be open to you all's questions and things like that. So, you know, leave your questions down in the comments, or leave your topic ideas is what I want to say in the comments, and we'll answer those things, you know, as we see fit. You know, I know you all have always had a lot of questions, because like I say, you only see on these renovation activity project channels like the ranch and IAG Farms, you only see probably, maybe 20% of our lives. And a lot of people think they see like 100%. It's like, no, you only see a little bit, and it's edited. Leave your topic ideas is what I want to say. Leave your topic ideas is what I want to say.
Of course, initially, with the initial excitement of the podcast, we were expecting that the podcast at least would be real and unscripted. Was that expecting a little bit too much, Coach? You talked about the fact that people only see 20% of your lives. And you kind of implied that, okay, well, the podcast would give them a greater glance at your family, some of your comings and goings with your family. We assumed that meant that we would be able to see more of the real part of your family, of some of the real perspectives. Although you quickly dispelled that thought in this initial clip of you guys going about setting up the stage, setting up the script, doing some type of practice for the podcast.
All right, ready?
Ready?
All right. Quick prayer meeting. I have a camera. All right, let's do this. All right, y'all. I'm Tim, and this is how Jesus changed my life.
All right, I think you could just put a little bit more, into it. Just, give it a little bit more, a little bit extra.
Okay, a little bit more extra, huh? All right, my first time doing a podcast / Godcast. I gotta get used to it. All right, y'all, here we go. A little bit more, say, huh?
Yeah, just ramp it up a little bit.
All right, y'all, this is Tim. Or, all right, y'all, I'm Tim, and this is how Jesus changed my life.
All right, that was good. That was great. I love it.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's try it again. And this time, just like give it all you got. Just put everything into it.
Okay.
Just let loose.
You mentioned that for the podcast, one of your topics will be about advising ex-cons on how to avoid recidivism. And I'm like, okay. Yes, Coach. Yes. Finally giving back something. But then I was like, okay, hopefully you're not going to advise those ex-cons to find a woman. Hopefully you're not going to encourage them to find a Megan, find someone that might be gullible and desperate enough to be pressured into worshiping the ground that you walk upon. Hopefully you're not going to encourage them to find a glorious woman of God and encourage her to give up her assets for the sake of some deception. Hopefully that's not going to be the case. Hopefully you're not going to encourage them to pull themselves up at the expense of these women. And women, please do not give up your assets for the sake of some deception. All right. God has a plan for you. And so I was excited about the encouragement you're going to give on avoiding the recidivism. Hopefully you're not going to encourage them. Hopefully you're not going to offer your quote unquote success. Hopefully you're not going to offer the fact that you claim dominion over Megan's space. Hopefully you're not going to offer a strategy for these ex-cons that they can simply go in. If they find the right woman, they can simply go in and claim dominion over their space. They can simply go in and erase that woman's past, erase her identity, and replace it with your own. And that would be a way for you to avoid going back to the slammer. Hopefully you're not encouraging them to replace their previous hustles with a new hustle. But you are my coach.
And we're here to help you not recidivize, to not return back, because you're going to be set free. Like Jesus is going to set you free if he hasn't already. And our goal is to keep you from going back into that prison and to fully walk in purpose.
Another podcast topic that you mentioned doing was, I believe it was being an alpha male in a society full of wimps. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, coach, if you're an alpha male, you don't have to declare that I'm an alpha male. Secondly, coach, alpha males, they're defined by their actions. Once people start moving around, once actions and decisions start being made and things start to progress, that's when alpha males present themselves. And in order to be an alpha male, you have to be around other males. Okay, you can't be considered to be an alpha male if there are no other men around. You're not really an alpha male if the only males in your life are the boys, and one of those boys is little Benjamin. That doesn't make you an alpha male. All right. If anything, the only alpha that I see in that household actually would be Megan, but that's a topic for another discussion. But as far as being an alpha male, there is no pride, there is no clan, there is no pack. Okay, so you're not the alpha within the pack. There is no pack. Considering that there are no other males in your life. There are no other males in your circle right now. You wouldn't qualify as being an alpha. Now, that's just like someone claiming that, okay, well, I'm the CEO, or I'm the lead singer, or I'm the coach. And it's like, well, you're the CEO and your company doesn't have any employees. Or you're the lead singer and there's nobody else in the band. Or you're the coach and there are no team members. It just simply doesn't qualify you to be an alpha. But at least you're my coach.
Let me pull out my list.
Okay. It's some brilliance.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and reveal some of the stuff.
There.
These are all prayed. They might sound crazy when I first say them, but just stay tuned and wait to see what we have to say about some of these topics. Should I say the first one?
No.
The first one is just a heavy hitter right out the door.
Why hold back now?
All right. One of the topics that we're gonna cover on this Godcast is, and I quote, being an alpha male in a society of wimps. I'm gonna say it again. I don't want to offend nobody, but we're going to talk about being an alpha male in a society of wimps.
All right. At the end of the video, Tim informs us that Megan is finally going in for the long-awaited hernia procedure. And as such, she won't be able to do any heavy lifting. Megan is going to have to rest up. She won't be able to do any of that back-breaking work for at least a year. Tim, you imply that, like most women, Megan loves to do that back-breaking work. She loves to do that muscle-wrenching work. She loves to pull that wagon. And so she's going to miss it, Tim. You're implying that Megan is actually going to miss her farm chores because she has to rest up for a year or so. Come on, coach. I'm sure that you're already thinking about what types of chores you can put Megan to while she's in the house resting, Tim. I'm sure that anyone else but you is going to have to pick up the slack for those farm chores, coach.
Megan is actually right now at the doctor's appointment to get she's about to work on getting her hernia repaired. And we're kind of bunkering down for that, trying to get things settled in for that, get Benjamin settled in and get things around the farm settled in, because she'll have to go, a good year or more without lifting and doing things around the farm like she loves to do. Without lifting and doing things around the farm like she loves to do. We're gonna leave the comments open over there just for interaction, because it's that type of channel. But on these channels, on IAG Farms and on the Resurrection Ranch, the comments will be closed back down after we get done promoting for the Godcast. But you all are amazing. We love y'all, and y'all just keep doing what you're doing. Keep on loving the haters. Keep on, when it's said that you don't respond to hate with hate, because they'll cancel out one another. But you respond, well, what do they say? A negative and a positive is a negative, So anytime you add a negative to a positive, it's still gonna be a negative. But I think I'm right. I don't know. I heard somebody say that. I listen to a lot of motivational videos. I think I'm right. I don't know. I think I'm right. I don't know. I think I'm right. I don't know.
All right. That's it. That's it for my reaction to that recent IAG Farms video about the movement at IAG, some supposed movement at IAG Farms. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please chop it up in the comments. Tim, you're invited to the, well, you're coming. Even if you're not invited, you're coming, Tim. So, Tim, I expect to see you in the comments. Bring a handful of your heaviest supporters, Tim. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. I want to shoot out some love to my current subscribers. Thank you for showing me that love. Those viewers that have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing so that we can continue to shine that light. Until next time.